Hi, welcome back. So what I want to do right now is before we implement notifications, we need to set up a way where when we type a URL for a screen, we straight away go to that screen, because otherwise when we click on a notification, it can't do anything. So what we need to do, we need to set up a way in which when we, let's say we want to go to user/Johnny/scream /a scream ID of whatever his scream, when we click enter here, we need to go straight away to that scream. Alright, so let's implement that. One thing I want to fix first, when we are actually logged out, there's an error or a warning that says the prop user in auth route is marked required. Let's fix that. So let's go to, where is it? Auth route right here. And here, let's make it not required, because sometimes we won't have a user if we're not logged in, and that's okay. This is still gonna work. So remove is required. Let's save, and the error should be gone. And I'm gonna be checking if we have any other warnings and fix them. All right, let's go to app. Let's set up a route for what we're trying to do. Let me close the terminal. So here I'm gonna add another route. So route exact path equals, and this will be /users/handle/scream/scream ID, and this will go to the component, the same component user, but with a trick, and you will see. Let's save here. Let's go to user. Where's user? Right here. Now here in user, we need to check if we have this parameter in our URL or in our path. So here in component did mount, should I go here? Actually, let's say const scream ID equals this.props.match.params.scream ID. Now, of course, we could maybe just be on the users page, so we don't have this, which is fine. It's going to be undefined. So here we do if scream ID. So if we have it, then this dot set state, let's call it scream ID param, and set it to scream ID that we just got. So if we have it, we set it in the state. Let's actually initialize here this variable and give it a value of null initially. So we can come down here in the render right here. Let's extract it. So const what is it? Scream ID param equals this dot state. So of course, if we don't have it, it's gonna be null, which is fine. And right here, we don't actually just render the screams, we do another check. So if we actually have screams, then here we do another check and we say if not scream ID param. So if it's null, then yeah, show the screams like this, that's fine. Now another, so actually, yeah, here I need to put a question mark, because this is another ternary. We're chaining another ternary operator. So if not scream ID params, then don't do anything else. So if we have a scream ID param, so we're trying to visit a scream, then let's do this. Now what we need to do here, we need to find the scream that has this scream ID and pass it a property of open dialog, so that we will know which scream to open once the page loads. So here I'm going to do if scream dot actually no, I need to do the map first. So let's do screams dot map, and here I say scream inside curly braces. Here we do our check. So if scream dot scream ID does not equal scream ID param, then it's not this scream that we want to open. So we just return like this. So I can just copy this the same way we return them here. Now here, else return. Now this is when we actually find that one scream that has the same scream ID as the one we're trying to open. So here we just pass a prop open dialog, and if we just pass it like this, it's just gonna pass a property open dialog with the value of true. Okay, so now let's go to scream. Now this is prop drilling, but it's okay. We're drilling only one property, not massive objects and a lot of updates and stuff like this. So where do we go? Actually here. No, actually we need to pass it to the screen dialog. So here in the screen dialog, let's say open dialog equals this dot props, because we passed it down, dot open dialog. And so if we don't have it, it's not it's gonna pass a an undefined value, so that's okay. And here let's add it to the prop types. So we say open dialog is a prop types dot bool for boolean, and it's not required because most of them will not have this property, and sometimes none of them will have it. So let's go to the open dialog and handle this logic. Now here we're gonna add a component did mount. So let's go here under the state, let's say component did mount. And here what we need to do is we just need to check if we have the open dialog. So if you do this dot props, if this dot props dot open dialog, then we just call this dot handle open. Let's save all files and let's check our application. So let's open the Redux state. So let's look, for example, this one right here. So now we have this one in our screen. Let's take the ID of it. So this is by Johnny and we have the ID of it. So oh no, actually I typed that earlier. I got confused for a second. Okay, let's refresh the home page just in case. And now if I type /users /Johnny /scream /.id, it should take us to that users page and open the screen, which it does. Cool. And so now what I want to do is I want to do something like Twitter. So here on Twitter, as you see, if I open this tweet, if I open this tweet, it's going to change the URL to that /user /status /the ID of this tweet. And if I close it, it goes back to the original one. And if I open this, and I actually just go to this URL, so I type enter, it will go to that users page and open it. And if I click away, it just goes back to that users page. So let's actually implement the same behavior for our application. So let's go to let's close Twitter. Let's go to our app. So here in the handle open, we're gonna have some logic. So this happens after we open the screen. So here, let's make some space. Oops. Make some space like this. Let's say I'm gonna have two variables here. Let's call this one old path, and the old path will be the path that we have currently. So window.location.path_name, and here I'm gonna get two things: const user handle and the scream ID. Remember, we've been passed these down from scream, so equals this dot props. And here we're gonna form the path that is supposed to be the path for this scream. So, and we'll call it new path. So this should always be the path for this scream that we've just opened. So backticks /users / and put the user handle, and then /scream / and then put the scream ID. Now here we can just do window dot push state, and here we don't need to pass any data, so we can say null, and then for the URL we just pass the new path. Let's save and let's see, look at our app. So now if I open this, it should change the URL to /users /user /scream / the ID of this one. Okay, so push state is not a function. Oh, window.history.pushState, sorry about that. So let's refresh. We open this, cool, and we get this URL. Nice. Oh, but it's actually not, we want it to actually change back. So let's add that logic as well. So here we need to as well revert the change from handle close, so we need to store them in the state so we can access them from both functions, so, or methods rather. So here when I set the state, we need to set as well values for the old path and the new path, and we need to put them here. So old path, path is an empty string, and new path is as well an empty string. So here when we close the dialog, we want to do window.history, which does nothing, by the way, it just changes the URL at the top, but of course it benefits the application so that we will know where to go, and it will know where we are by just checking the URL from different components. So this state.old path. So now when we go when we close it, it should revert it back to the old path. So let's save and let's test that. Let's refresh. Let's open this. Cool. It takes us back to the old path. And even from the users page, if we do this and we go back, it gives us the old path. So it doesn't just give us slash, it actually saves the path that we had, and then when we close it, it takes us back. Okay, there's an edge case for this, which is when we just take a URL. Let me go to another user because /user is a bit confusing. So when I take this screen and I just press enter right now, there is no old URL. So if I click away, it's not going to work because the old URL is the same as the new one. So let's actually handle this edge case. So here, under here, I'm going to say if old path equals new path, then what we need to do is we need to say old path equals /users user handle, like this. Because when we come from completely a different place and we click away, we should just go back to the users page, like exactly like on Twitter, and it works right now. So if I click on this and I just click enter here and I click away, it will go back to the users page. Cool. Okay, so let's create the notifications now. Let's go to here in navbar, and here instead of notifications in this button, let's just leave this notifications tag, but it's not gonna actually be the icon, it's gonna be a new component that we're gonna create. Let's put it in the same folder. So let's say import notifications from same directory notifications, and let's create this file. So notifications.js, and here we're gonna have some similar imports to Scream. So I'm gonna take the first 6 right here. Let's go back to notifications, paste them. The only one we don't need is the with styles. And for this, I'm gonna use the menu component. So if we go to material UI component demos, and where is it? Right here, menu. I'm just gonna use the simple menu. So if you expand the code, it has something called anchor element, and you can change the anchor and it will anchor around a different one. So for example, if it were to anchor around my account, when you click it, my account appears in the middle. But for our case, I'm just gonna let it always anchor at the top, so we just see it as a normal drop down. All right, so here I'm gonna bring in some MUI stuff. So let's say MUI stuff, and here we'll say first is the menu, excuse me, /material UI /core /menu. And here I'm just gonna copy this line and paste it 5 more times. So let's click here, Control D, we need menu item, we need icon button, we need tooltip, typography, and badge. I'll show you what these things do. We need a couple of icons. So here let's say import notifications icon from material UI /icons /notifications. And we can copy this. And here let's say favorite favorite, and here we'll say chat. So select this, Control D, chat. And here let's bring in Redux stuff. Import connect from React Redux. And here let's import an action that we haven't created yet. Let's call this mark notifications red, which is going to be executed once we expand our notifications. So just like on Facebook, or I think even on Twitter, when you expand your notifications, they're automatically marked red. So go back 2 levels, Redux /actions / user actions. And here let's do our class notifications extends component, and we will have a state. We'll have an anchor element of null initially, and let's export here. Let's say export connect map state to props. And here guys, if you remember, we already have our notifications. So we go to state, we go to user. Oh, actually we're not logged in. Let me log in quickly. So okay, so if you look here, we already have a couple of notifications, so we just need to show them. Alright, let's go to our notifications, here map state to props, and we only need one action, and we can put it in this object. Here's mark notifications red, and we connect it to notifications. Oh, here's export default. Let's say notifications dot prop types. And we have only 2, so the function mark notifications red is a prop types dot func dot is required, and the notifications is as well a prop types dot object dot is required. And here let's do const map state to props. We'll take the state and return the following. And here we need notifications from state.user.notifications. Alright, let's actually create this action first, because that makes more sense. Let's go to user actions, and here at the bottom I'm going to say export default. Actually, let me create the type first, so it imports it. Here under the user types, I'm going to say export const mark notifications red. I'm just going to copy this so that I don't make a typo, because I always do that. So equals this string. So let's go back to user actions. Here let's say not default, export const mark notifications red, and here it will take so let's call it data for now, or let's just call them notifications. Actually they're an array of IDs, so let's say notification IDs, and it's gonna take dispatch, and here we just need to send an Axios request. So .post to /notifications, and we pass the notifications IDs, and here .then if we get a result, we dispatch a type of mark notifications red, and it imports this. It imports it. We don't need actually a payload. So here we say .catch error. We just console.log it. So all right, let's go to our user reducer and handle this type, or this type. So here I'm say case mark notifications red, and make sure if it doesn't import it for you, you import it yourself. And here what we need to do is when we mark some notifications red, if we go to our state here, so let's go to user notifications. If we mark them red, we just need to loop through them and change this red property from false to true. So we have access to them right now by just doing state dot notifications. And what we need to do for each, we loop through them. For each not, I'm gonna call it for notifications, we will say not.red equals true. All right, so here we need to return the state, of course. Return spread the state. Okay, so this is fine for now. Let's go back to notifications, and here in the render we need to take the notifications from the props. So const notifications equals this dot props dot notifications, and here we need to do the anchor element equals this dot state dot anchor element. And notice I'm not using destructuring here because sometimes it makes less sense to use destructuring when you have one thing. Okay, so let's say let notification icon. Now, depending on the type of notification, we're going to have a different icon. So if it's a notification on a comment, we're going to have the chat icon. If it's a notification on a like, we're going to have the favorite icon. So here we need to check if we have any notifications in the first place. So if notifications, and if we have notifications, we need to check that notifications dot length is bigger than 0. So if this is the case, we need to what we need to do is we need to have two types of notifications. If it's red, we're gonna give it a color of secondary, otherwise we're gonna give it like a normal color. So here we will say, so here we check if we have any unread notifications, then we need to show a so we broke our thing. So we need to show a badge on the icon of the notification with the number of the unread notifications. Otherwise we just show the icon without any badge. So here we can check by doing notifications dot filter, and here we filter for not where not dot red equals false. So this will by filtering like this will have a result of only the notifications that have a red of false. I mean, if the array that has some notifications that have a red property of false has a length of bigger than 0, that means there are certain notifications that are unread. So here, if this is the case, so we use it as a condition and we do a ternary. So if this is the case, that means we have unread notifications. So let's open this and let's say notifications icon equals the following. So here we say badge, we surround it with badge, that's how badge works, and we say badge content equals, and here we need to actually give it a number, so how many notifications that are unread, which is this array right here. So actually I forgot to change the dot length. So actually this is the number of the notifications that are unread. So this is the content of the badge, and here we need to add a color of secondary so it stands out and we can see it. And here let's close this badge, and inside the badge we put the icon, so notification icon, which is just the notification icon. And here, so outside of here between these two parentheses we do a colon, so else we just do notifications icon equals just the regular notifications icon. Actually this is a lowercase because it's this thing right here. Actually it's this. Let me make sure I have the right variable here. So notifications icon is this one. Cool. Okay, I have a problem with my parentheses. I think these are extra. Okay, yeah. So this is fine now. We need to handle the else case. So else we'll do the same here. So notification icon equals notification icon. Because we could have notifications and all of them are red. In that case we do this, and we could have no notifications, and in that case as well as this, we just put the icon. Alright, so here Here, actually, let's do our return. And inside we're gonna wrap everything in a div. Or actually, let's bring in a fragment. That's better. Let's avoid the div soup. So let's replace this div with fragment. And here I'm gonna start, of course, with the button that triggers all of this. And here, let's say we surround it with a tooltip, with a placement, not placeholder, placement of top. And this will have a title, and you will say just notifications. And inside of here, we're gonna have an icon button with an area owns, area owns, yeah, of if anchor element, then we just say simple menu. This is from the documentation. Else is undefined. And here we just I don't know, I honestly don't know what these do, but they're from the documentation, so I'm just gonna put them. These two properties has pop-up equals true, and it's gonna have an on-click this dot handle open. And inside the icon button, we're gonna put our notifications icon. So notifications icon. All right. So under this tooltip, we're gonna have our menu. So menu like this. And here we'll give it an ID of simple menu in case. Actually, we don't need the ID. I didn't even type it correctly. So anchor element will be the anchor element that we destructured earlier. The open will be, let's change the boolean on anchor element. So if we have one, it's going to be true, else it's going to be false. So the on close will be this dot handle close, and we'll give it an on entered. Now this on entered is triggered once the menu is opened, and this is what we're gonna use to actually send the request to our backend and mark these notifications red. And we'll call this on menu opened. Let's close this, and inside of here we're gonna have something called notifications markup. And this is, of course, is gonna depend on a couple of things. So here let's create our notifications markup. So I'm gonna say let notifications markup equals, and here I'm going to say if notifications and notifications dot length is bigger than 0, then so here what we need to do, we're going to map through the notifications and show each one. So here we'll say notifications dot map. I'm sorry about the typos, guys. It's the end of the day and I'm kind of like tired, to be honest. This is gonna be the last video I'm recording, otherwise I'm just not gonna be that productive. Alright, so inside of this notification we're gonna have a couple of things, because like, let me show you. It depends on the notification. We're gonna have a different string that we put inside of the notification. So for example, if the type is comment, we'll say commented on. If the type is like, we'll say liked your, etc. And you'll see what in a second. So say const verb, I'm gonna call it, equals. Now depending on the notification dot type, so I just called it not, by the way, in this map. So not dot type, if it equals like, then we will call the verb liked. Else we have two types, so else is probably it's definitely a comment, so we say commented on. And here we need to also have the time when this happened, and for this we're gonna use the day.js from now, and actually we need to extend day.js. So inside the render, let's say day.js dot extend and we pass it the relative time plugin. Did I actually import it? Yes. Pass it the relative time, and inside of here we'll say time equals day.js, and we pass it not.created at from now. Now we need the icon color, because if it's unread it's going to be red, if it's red it's going to be like normal. So here we say if not.red, then it's going to be primary, else it's going to be secondary. And we also need the icon. The icon depends on the type of the notification. So here equals not.type equals like. So if it equals like, then let's open parentheses and let's say favorite icon. So if it's a like, it's going to be a heart icon, and the color will be icon color, and the, what do we have? We have, let's give it a style of margin. Actually we need two curly braces here, margin right of 10. I'm just doing inline style for this one, guys. You can, I don't want to add with styles just to have this style. And here, if not, it's going to be a chat icon, because it's going to be a comment notification with a color of icon color and with the same style, and we close the icon like this. Actually, before we carry on, let's handle the else so that it doesn't show any like squiggly lines here. So else, if we have no notifications, we show a menu item with an on click that just closes this. So the on click of handle close, and it's gonna say you have no notifications yet. So here, let's carry on. So now after we have all these variables, we can return what we want to return. So let's return the following, and here it's going to be a menu item with the, we need a key because we're iterating through an array. The key would be the created at, and we need an on click, and this will be this dot handle close as well. And inside the menu, we're going to have the icon, the first thing. And after that, we'll have a typography of component link, because this is going to be a link to the screen. And the color of default. And the variant of body 1. And it's going to have a to property, because it's a link to /users/ and we put the notification dot recipient like this, /scream /notification dot scream ID, and we close this typography, and here it's gonna say not dot sender. So the handle of this person space verb, so whether liked or commented on, and then we say your scream space, and then here we put the time. So let's say time like this, and this will say like 5 minutes ago or whatever. So let's go up here and create our functions, our handle open and handle close and all of that, actually outside the render. So here say handle open equals, it's going to take an event, and it's going to do this dot set state anchor element is event dot target, which is always going to be the icon. Here let's say handle close equals, doesn't take anything, and it just sets the state anchor element to null again, so it closes the thing, the menus. And here let's say on menu opened. This is what sends a request to our backend to mark the notifications red. And if you remember properly, like the backend, we need to send an array of the IDs of the notifications that we want to mark red. So we can do this by, let's say, let unread, let's call it unread notifications IDs equals this dot props dot notifications dot map. And what we're gonna need to do here, we need to map through the notifications that have a not.red of false or not.red. And actually no, here we filter them, not map them, so we only have the ones that are not red. Now we chain a map, and what we need to do, we map the notification to we have a key notification ID. So this will return us an array of the IDs of the ones that have red false. And what we need to do with this array, we just need to call this .props.mark notifications red, and we just pass this unread notifications ID, and that should take care of it. So this should work. Let's look at our console, and we have notifications icon not defined, line 53. Where is it? Because it's notifications icon. Oh, cool, no more errors. All right, let's look at our app, and cool, we get 3 unread notifications. And if we open our state, let's put this like this. If we open the state, we go here, we look at our user, we go look at our notifications, and they have a red of false. And if we click here, so now they are all red because they're all unread. And if we click on this action and we click on difference, we see that it changed in the notification, and it changed all their red properties from false to true. Cool. And if we click away, there's no more badge anymore. And if we click, we see that they are blue because they are red. And if we click on this one, it takes us to this Scream ID. Cool. So it's working. All right, so this was a long video, but this was major progress. Guys, if you reached this far, like, I'm proud of you, like, you're doing really well. There's only one video I think left to do, which we're gonna do the loading skeletons for the screams and for the user profile. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.